Hello and welcome to Grid Live, first program for the 2022 year. We'll be talking about World Rally Championship Rally Monte Carlo, first of the new hybrid era for Rally 1, and want to give a big special thank you to our Patreon subscribers, Colin, the show, Mark, and Robin for keeping us on the air. Be sure to click the link in the video description to invest in the Grid Network, and be sure to subscribe to us right here on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching, whether it's Twitch, Facebook. Be sure to follow us. With me today, Matt White from Grid History will be talking the World Rally Championship, and be sure to check out Buy Me Coffee where you can buy him or myself a drink of our choice. Definitely. Let's get started with Rally Monte Carlo, where Matt, we've seen this has been really the battle of the two sets. Sebastian Ogier, Sebastian Loeb, 17 championships between the two racers. Just amazing. You got two drivers, such high caliber, just dueling out. Loeb won the first four stages on Friday, responding back to Ogier, who won the first two stages on Thursday. Overall, though, we have seen the race for the lead change back and forth, especially as we were going through Thursday, stage 8, and then entering to final stages of Friday. And then Gus Greensmith, he is the one lone driver before today, Saturday's race, where he won stage 7 on Friday. So he was only the third driver to do that. So, Matt, after Friday, the first full day of racing, is everyone a bit more cautious with the new car rules and being the first race of the new season?
I think there was some of that, especially on Thursday night, because obviously in the darkness anything can happen. And we saw on stage 2, young Oliver Solberg across the top of the famous Col de Turini have a small spin. Luckily, he got away without hitting anything and damaging the car. But in front of the fans up the top of the hill there, it was a pretty embarrassing moment for him. But everybody got through those two night stages on Thursday without massive amount of dramas. And then, we got into Friday, and there was some talk before the event that it's going to be a battle of the Sebs. Now, Loeb, he's been out of the championship for 2 years. In his last event, which was on Monte in 2019, 2020, he was with Hyundai and he struggled. But he's just fresh back from second on the Dakar last week, literally flew in on Sunday last weekend. Has had minimal time in the car. It was fastest on the shakedown on Thursday morning, and here he is battling with his younger fellow Frenchman Sebastian Ogier for the rally lead. And as you said, it's gone back and forth between the two of them for these first couple of days. Ogier has the advantage as we head into the final day, which we'll get to. But it was great to see Loeb up there. And I think Thursday night especially, Ogier was the first person to complete that first stage, and he got to the stop line, and he wasn't very happy. He said at all, I didn't have any confidence in the car, but he still beat everybody by I think 9 seconds. So everybody's still getting up to speed with these cars, and their differences. They're very different to what we've had in the last generation. No paddle shift gears now. We've gone to a sequential. The center diff has gone, so they're very different to drive. New aero, the hybrid as well to contend with, and they've changed the suspension geometry. So it's very, very different to what we've seen for the last 5 years with the last generation of car.
Very different. It's been very unusual to see them now with the sequential. It seems like for the longest time, World Rallies had always been with the paddle shift, and now to see that sequential, it's just been really weird for me. And then one of the things too, the co-drivers now in a little bit of a different, higher up position, as they were talking about, where they could actually see the road.
They've all got the same roll cage, which is homologated by the FIA. But you're right, it's safer for them, but they're up higher. So instead of them just sitting there looking at the notebook, they can see now over the dashboard. So it's very different surroundings for them. And that was one of the stories of last season, was all the co-driver changes, and they've all again had to bed back in to the start of this year. Sebastian Ogier, his long-time co-driver, his whole career. Julian Ingrassia retired at the end of last year, fully retired. He stopped. So Ogier's had to find himself a new co-driver. So that's, again, an oddity not to see Ingrassia standing alongside him. He's been working on French television this weekend instead.
Yeah, working French television is just something where this season it just seems very, very different for World Rally Championship with all the changes as you pointed out. And then for me, always it seems with the season opening race, it's always a bit on the more unpredictable side. So definitely that first day where it seems like everyone was just taking it a little bit more easy, a little bit more cautious was the big thing to go. But Saturday, boy, horrible day for Hyundai. Tonic out, Solberg off. He essentially we saw recovered. Newville suspension issues. I mean, just seeing how it caused damage to the hood coming through, I was just I'm surprised he got through the entire day. Elfin Evans, special stage 11, stopped. They had to stop the race to get him out. 20-minute penalty. The battle of the French legends still continues, bringing the third highest. And then we saw World Rally Championship two drivers in the top 10. Andreas Mikkelsen leads by 27 over Eric Kess, who is seventh place overall. Definitely just been a really exciting, unpredictable day of racing. And definitely we also want to welcome for this part of our coverage Adam Lemerise joining us from North
Hi.
Carolina. So Adam, this question is going to go to you first. Essentially, we've seen OJ now he is leading low by 21 seconds. And of course, this was all seems to be part of what happened in stage 13, where the two of them ice snow conditions, but we haven't seen most of the race. They go out on soft tires and they were just slow. Do you think this could be the ultimate decider between the two Sebastians?
Yes, I do. And hi to everybody watching. And for those of you who don't know, I believe I picked Sebastian Ogier to win the opening rally Monte Carlo on Wednesday night on Grid tonight. And it's just really good to see the two Sebastians dueling again. We all remember back in the day, those two had incredible battles at each rally across the world that they participated in. And what a way to start the 2022 World Rally Championship. Sebastian Ogier leads Sebastian Loeb by over 21 seconds. That's going to be a hard margin to make up. All I know is I can't wait till Sunday, since it's the final day of the rally, and Sebastian Loeb could make up that 21-second difference and get around Sebastian Ogier and claim the first victory of the year. But there's a lot of racing still left to go over there in Monaco.
Yeah, it's been as you said, a terrible day for Hyundai. Let's go. Yeah, start there as the kind of headline of the day, because we saw Tanak go off on the one snowy stage of the whole event this year, and I mentioned it in the preview on Grid Tonight in the week that the weather's been so warm in Monte that we've had very little snow, but this one section of this stage falls on the side of the mountain that the sun doesn't get to. And Tanak went off this morning in the first run through, just ploughed straight on into the rock face, damaged the front of the car. That was after on stage before Oliver Solberg went off and had to get recovered back on, lost a lot of time, and then he said he had some fuel fumes in the car as well, which was distracting. Then this afternoon, we've had Thierry Neuville have suspension issues, former winner of this rally a couple of years ago. So he was looking good to be second of the major point scorers behind Breen. He was fourth at the time, and now he's way back. Elfin Evans, just a driver error, backed off in a right-hander, but where he ended up, the stage continued round and back underneath where he'd stopped. So if the car had gone backwards, it would have ended up back on the stage again in a slightly different position. So they had to red flag the stage. Everybody behind him was given a nominal time, and he was given 20-minute penalty. So he's out of position, and he's out of chance really to score unless something really catastrophic happens to all those WRC2 runners tomorrow. And Evans is out of chance of scoring any championship points unless he blitzes everybody in the power stage, which of course is the last stage tomorrow, where the top 5 finishers in the stage get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 points in the championship. So eventful, and that's why we've got 4 WRC2 runners at the back end of the top 10, because we've had people dropping out over the last 2 days, but especially today.
But yeah, one of the big things with this unpredictable stage that we saw in 13 and then the snow getting Tonic by surprise. I mean, it didn't seem that bad at first when he made that contact. Yes, there was a puncture too, but then in an interview after stage 13 saying the radiator was essentially the cause of him falling out of the race. And one of the things I have to mention this yet, the understeer. We've seen several cars. It just seems that understeer has been catching a lot of people by surprise. Matt, is this something that's a product of the new regulations?
Yes, it was mentioned on Thursday night as well. The hybrid boost, especially on the downhills, is pushing people on because it's got so much extra boost behind them that they're running longer through braking sections and just missing corners. And we saw Ogier in that snowy stage. I think it was the first run this morning, have a big slide, and was quite lucky not to end up down the side of a bank as well. So there's been a lot of people having issues with this. Again, it's the first event for the cars. It'll be very different on the gravel and through the year. And of course, we go to Sweden next, which I'm touching wood here, is going to be full snow this year, unlike last year. So that's the next event in 5 weeks' time. And if the championship or the rally order stays the same, Craig Breen will end up opening Rally Sweden as the first car. So he's never done that before. This is the first time he's been to Monte, and I think he said 5 years. So to end up, if he ends up third tomorrow, he's a minute behind the leaders. So he's probably going to settle for third, but he's got a fast Finn trying to catch him from behind in Kalle Rovanperä.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good to see Kalle Rovanperä up there, and also I'll give a special shout out to Gus Greensmith. When his first career stage, that's pretty cool to do. It's normally the stage roads are dominated by either Sebastian Ogier or we've seen Elvin Evans, Kalle Rovanperä, but it's good to see a different name win a stage. Will Gus Greensmith contend for an overall win this year? It could happen out of the blue.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. We could see some of the new faces up towards the front. And especially when you have a day like today, while Hyundai, they're having a bad day. Toyota Gazoo Racing, Evans, Rovanperä, they both got stage wins. And considering how Rovanperä just seemed to be nowhere at first. And of course, Ogier, he overall has the lead. He took a stage win as well. But Rovanperä, 37 seconds behind Breen in that Ford. Matt, is the real battle we should be watching between Breen and Rovanperä, since these two are going to be running full time? Is this a preview of what we can see as the championship battle?
It's strange, isn't it? Because we've got the front two 20 seconds apart, and then the third and fourth place is as near as makes no difference, 40 seconds apart. But the front two don't matter to them. What we got 4 stages to go on Sunday morning, unless there's punches or a spin or we've seen some mechanical issues with these new cars already. One stage yesterday, Loeb complained he had no hybrid the whole stage. They managed to get it reset for the next one, but he had to go a whole stage with no boost. So unless something like that happens, I can't see Breen losing. He has been losing the time today, but he hasn't had a massive battle and then Neuville fell out, who was in between them. So I think Craig will be up for it tomorrow. It'd be great to see him on the podium. This is his first full season, of course, let's not forget. So if he can get on the podium, and as I said, he'll start Sweden as the de facto championship leader, because Loeb and Ogier won't be there. So that's two good battles to look out for tomorrow. Obviously, the battle for the win and who's going to end up third on the podium.
Yeah, I'll completely agree with you, Matt. I believe, since Sebastian Loeb and Sebastian Ogier are only running selected races this year, you're going to have people like Kalle Rovanperä, Elvin Evans, and Craig Breen all going for the season championship. And I believe Rovanpera, we saw what he did last year. And I think when it's all said and done, I think Rovanpera will be up there as a contender for the overall championship.
Yeah, Rovanpera, a contender. Evans, of course, last year he was battling it out with OJ. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see who can claim this championship. Now, one driver a lot of people were looking at, especially on Friday, Adrian Florman. Big talk, of course, was the battle up front, but unfortunately for Adrian, a violent crash has essentially ended his chances at Rally Monte Carlo. Appeared to slip while entering the corner, went wide, hit that rock wall, and then flipped over, tumbling over the guardrails and down the hill. Of course, you all seen the pictures. We have that on our thumbnail pictures as well, courtesy of World Rally Championship Plus coverage. Amazingly, both he and the driver, co-driver, are okay. The vehicle itself, no. There are rules about, if that shell essentially is all in one piece together, it could be reused and they rebuild around, but it doesn't seem like that seems to be the case. And it's the first serious crash for this new hybrid car where they had to look for a green light to make sure it's safe to approach. Now, Florman was on the same pace as OJ when the crash occurred. Starting with you, Adam, considering the conditions, and this is the first stage on Friday, was Adrian just pushing it a bit too much?
Yeah, I believe he was, and I'm glad to see Adrian and his co-driver are okay. If you saw the video of his tumble, I mean, I don't know. I'm glad he and his co-driver walked away, because that was a scary, scary wreck. I don't care what off-road racing series you are in. I mean, you think about the legendary Pikes Peak International Hill Climb in Colorado, and we've seen cars at that rally lost and go off the side of the cliff, and and they roll down the rocky embankment. So yeah, I believe he was pushing it just a little too much, but I'm glad to see Adrian and his co-driver walked away. That was a scary, scary accident.
Yeah, it really was. And Ford boss Rich Miller was kind of giving him a bit of a slap on the back. Like, that wasn't a bit unnecessary. Craig Breen had a slip off the road in the test, ended up upside down a ravine, but that was less of an impact. This was, as you said, was a barrel rolling kind of Daytona Talladega style accident for Adrian and that crew, and thankfully they were absolutely fine, but their rally ended there on the spot. Not sure if we've heard or not if the cage was damaged, but I guess there was far too much damage to all the other bits and pieces of the car for them to get it back and get him back in the Super Rally. So real shame. He showed flashes of speed last year, but also had accidents. So let's hope this is the kind of gets it out of the way for the season, because I believe he's in that list of rally winning contenders if he can get to the end.
Yeah, potential rally winning contender. And one of the things, it seems the Ford M Sports, for last year it was all about Hyundai and Toyota. You got Sebastian Loeb up front for the Fords. You got Breen right there, third place. Starting with you, Matt. Do you believe Ford is going to be running all year long, contending with Toyota and Hyundai for the win? And could we see a Ford driver be in that championship picture?
I think so, yeah. Sorry, my voice has been terrible all week. As Adam mentioned before, great to see Gus Greensmith finally breaking through and winning his first stage, and his reaction, because he already finished the stage and was waiting for Loeb to come through behind to make sure that he'd won. So his reaction in the car when he was told was great. That's on WRC social, so check that out if you can. Breen's up there. Formo was fourth. Avoy crashed. And as you said, Loeb leading, or was leading, and has led for the majority, is now second. Ford always, the M Sport team, always come out of the box when there's a new regulation with a new car. They did it with after they chopped the focus in for the Fiesta, 13 years ago. They did it in 2017 when they got Ogier in the Red Bull car, and then he won this event for them. And the first couple of years there, he won the championship. So they wrote off last year completely with Gus and Formo in the cars, just to make sure they developed and got this car right, the new Puma. And so far, it's proved to be a hit. So again, they've got obviously Loeb in probably for his only start of the year. I don't expect to see much more of Seb throughout the season. Breen's there full season. He's still getting used to the car and being a full season driver. So let's see how the next couple of rallies plays out. They're certainly ahead of Hyundai at the moment, and we've documented their struggles. And they were the last team really to get this new car out over the winter, the Christmas break. So they're on the back foot as we head into the last day and then going to Sweden in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, I believe the Fords are going to be a contender not only for rally wins but the season championship. Collie Rovanperä and Craig Breen are, it's their first year running full time, and they, and thankfully for World Rally they don't have to contend with Sebastian Loeb or OJ. I don't know, since they're only doing selected races. So I believe, to me the Fords are going to be up there with Toyota and Hyundai to compete for rally wins and the overall championship.
It's going to be really interesting to see if Ford's up there contending for the wins. I think everyone just got so used to just Hyundai, Toyota, Gazoo. We'll see the Ford up there contending for the wins. I think will be really exciting. And of course, tomorrow, essentially we do have 4 stages. However, they're going to be running the same pair of tracks. So Rally 14, as you can see here, will be used for Rally 16, while the 15th stage will be the same as the 17th stage. And of course, that 17th stage, that is going to be the power stage, where, as you mentioned earlier in the show, Matt, the fastest in that stage is going to earn 5 points, while second, third, fourth will all earn substantially less points, 1 point increments down. So it's going to be a really interesting power stage. And the weather forecast for tomorrow, right now, it shows that it's going to be still clear skies, sunny, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, or all those Celsius, 13 degrees. We've seen how, of course, it's cooler up in the mountains, and it looks like with especially the power stage, they are racing back up the hill towards where it's going to be cooler, as you can see right there at the finish line. So starting with you, Adam, is this race really more OJ's to win unless he makes a mistake?
Yes. He has a 21-second lead over Sebastian Loeb, and anything can happen tomorrow. It's just going to be an incredible battle between the two Sebastians, and could we count out Craig Breen to maybe slip in there and get between the two Sebastians and at least get second? Or maybe we'll see a surprise in Collie Rovanperä finding a way to get on the podium. I believe it's OJ's rally to lose, and you mentioned the warmer temperatures tomorrow, and yeah, it does get cold in the mountains. I'll agree to that. So it's just going to be an incredible battle all the way to the end of this first rally of the 2022 World Rally Championship.
Yeah, a couple of things to look for tomorrow, especially on the first passes. Where will the frost be? Because, as we said, it's going to be cold, especially on that very first stage tomorrow. Under the trees, over obviously there's lots of streams up in the mountains, so the bridges over the rivers, they will be frosty, they'll be slippery. Not so much snow around, so that's not too much of a concern. But yeah, the frost may be a problem. What I think is going to be interesting, power stage wise, preview ahead to that a little bit. If the OGA low battle stays the same or more in OGA's favour going into that power stage, will they push it? Because they're not interested in world championship points. Okay, OGA is going to make sure he wins the rally for Toyota and for him. But he's not interested in 5 power stage points, which is odd for Sebastian Ogier because he's always interested in everything, championship points wise, but maybe not tomorrow. So we're going to see Evans coming through. He will need to score points on the power stage tomorrow after his spin today. We'll see Neuville probably going for it too because he's a little bit down the order, unless we have some retirements early on in the day tomorrow. So a couple of different bits and pieces to look out for over those 4 loops, and especially the power stage, which will be interesting to see where the points go.
The points is going to be something else. Will, as you say, Loeb, OJ really push to get those points, or could we see Breen essentially get those? Because that's going to be a huge. I know last year when it came to World Rally Championship, came down to the final race. Can you imagine if it became something where you finish here, 3rd place, 4th place, but then those power stage points that you got in Rally Monte Carlo could be the difference? I can see that very much happening as this entire season progresses. And speaking of that 3rd or 4th place battle, Ron Pera, 37 seconds behind Breen. Is this an indication that Breen essentially has 3rd place under control? Or, as you were pointing out, all those factors, could those factors also play a little bit of mind game with Breen knowing, okay, you're sort of the best of the rest when it comes to the full-time racers, and you're the one out there? Could that add more pressure to Breen?
Maybe, and as we've told, sorry, Adam, maybe he will. And as we've said, Calais been much faster than Craig today and has chased him down. So it's all about that first stage tomorrow. If they get up there and one of them has a bad first stage or has a puncture or something, it's going to set the tone for the rest of the day. So all about that first stage tomorrow in that battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, I believe if something were to happen to either Sebastian tomorrow, Craig Breen he could pounce and get a podium position, and then Rowan Perrick could do the same thing. The last 4 stages of Rally Monte Carlo are going to be really incredible. And I make sure you find a way to watch because it's really cool. Like I said earlier, to see the 2 Sebastians going back at it again after their historic battles back in the day when they were full-time in the World Rally Championship.
Full-time battling. And one of the things too, stage 14 and 16, I forgot to mention, brand new stage where 15, 17 is more familiar route for the driver. So that could really make things interesting. So it's definitely going to be a very exciting Sunday. I know just shortly they're going to start the press conference for the World Rally Championship drivers in Monte Carlo. And then, of course, tomorrow, the 4 stages, and then the ceremonial ending at the Hotel Casino in Monaco. Picturesque, perfect place to end it. And of course, this is their big crown jewel event. We encourage everyone to subscribe to the Grid Network, see all our programs, including Roundtable, where the 3 of us, plus Josh and Kobe and Ben, we're talking about the crown jewel races, and this one being the crown jewel for World Rally Championship. And be sure to invest in the Grid Network, join our Patreon, or you could do a Buy Me Coffee, a one-time contribution. That includes the option of buying a cup of coffee for your favorite on-air personality, and visit all our social media outlets, including TikTok. Each and every week we post Pick a Winner. This is the first Pick a Winner event and first event for the Grid Ranking. Of course, Grid Ranking will be coming out April 3rd, the first Sunday of April. And be sure to visit Public one of our fine sponsors, $5 in free stock if you put in our referral code GRIDnet. And of course, they also are now have options for cryptocurrency, which is getting really popular. We're seeing more cryptocurrency sponsorships in motorsports. Link in the video description. And then tomorrow, Grid Live wrap up, where we'll be discussing the final day and results from Monte Carlo, noon Eastern, and right here on the Grid Network. For Adam Lemerise and Matt White from Grid History and Ultimate Sports Radio Network, I'm Joe San Diego. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Don't be an anonymous investor. Join the stock market social media platform public.com. Invest any amount of money and share with friends and new friends. Discover new opportunities such as new companies and potential business partners and useful tools for beginners, and share your experience with friends on public.com. Link in the video description gets you $5 for being a Grid Network viewer. Use the referral code GRIDnet for your free $5 to invest. Start investing and networking on public.com.